In this age of digital messages, magazines, and even novels, there's concern that books as we have known them may become a thing of the past. Well, don't tell that to a Nashville bookmaker and artist that Rob Wiles met recently. You see, to her, the creativity is not only in the content, but in the actual book itself.
Britt Stadig spends long hours with books. Writing them, yes. Illustrating them, yes. But more than that, actually creating them. All painstakingly put together in a way that would be recognized in a print shop a century ago.
I like to know that I can do it from scratch. It's a craft thing, and I think that's where I've always had a foot in craft and in fine art. There's something really satisfying knowing that I can build a book from start to finish the way they did before there were any machines. And there is still very much a need for it, or I wouldn't have the business that I have. I still have clients who want me to build them things, you know, from scratch, by hand, because of that need for touch. You know, I think that that's something that never goes away, no matter how advanced we get technologically.
Not that Britt doesn't use technology, just technology out of the 19th century.
They do make new equipment, but that's what makes me strange, I guess. I've hauled that from Boston all the way down to Nashville. I really like the old cast iron equipment. I feel like it works better. That's probably not true, but I feel like it works better. I'm connected to it. It's a really strange thing to try to explain to someone, but I feel really connected to my cast iron machinery.
People, museums, schools often contact Britt to commission her to recreate pieces of important books, which turn out beautifully. But Britt really sees her books as part of a way to let her, as an artist, use her artwork to tell a story, the book itself an integral part of the artwork. She takes after a member of her family who used printing for a different kind of artistry.
I grew up hearing about my great-uncle John Stadig, and he was among the first 25 prisoners incarcerated in Alcatraz for counterfeiting. So printmaking runs in our family. And I don't think I really understood what that meant until I went to college. But so he was a counterfeiter for the mafia in the late 20s, early 30s. And he was a pretty interesting character, and he was also quite the escape artist. And I grew up hearing these stories about him, but because my parents are great storytellers, I thought there was probably a little bit of truth in there, but probably a lot of embellishment. Until the Freedom of Information Act, and my cousin was able to access his file from the Justice Department. And all of it was true and then some.
Now this is interesting because it's got a fingerprint on it.
Right.
The story in there.
So this is the book that I did about great-uncle John Stadig and Alcatraz. So because of that file that my cousin passed along to me, it had copies of everything. So this is actually his fingerprint. And I don't title my work. You'll notice that all of my artist books are really just a symbol, so it's just his fingerprint.
Britt created a book telling her great-uncle's story using his actual police files.
Now this is when he was first arrested.
This is at the beginning. He was 26, and you can sort of see that he looks pretty confident and pretty sassy.
Her own drawings are put into the book, along with letters and news reports, some of which harken back to an earlier journalistic time. John M. Stadig, 26, of San Francisco, sentenced to serve 6 years for counterfeiting, escaped in a rain of bullets and fled to the timber.
And then there's his ending mugshot. This is, shortly before, and you can just, it's a completely different man.
Looks
in these images.
Pretty much beaten by the time that rolls.
He just looks done.
The whole story told in a series of Britt's creations contained in a book she created, which gives the viewer something to explore, to actually feel like we're witnessing the story unfold.
We want to touch things, we want to peek through things, we want to discover things. And I think there's a voyeur in all of us as well. When you're driving at night and someone's windows are you know, the curtains are pulled back and the light is on, we all look in. I mean, hopefully we don't stop, we keep going, but I think we're all extremely interested in what people are doing. And I think that lends itself very well to this idea of playing with, holding, discovering secrets, feeling like you're in on the secret. So I think that's something we just never outgrow.
Given the ever-increasing number of clients who want handmade books and a growing interest by artists in showing their works as a book that admirers can actually hold, Britt Stadig will be busy cutting and pasting and creating for a long time to come.